me know.
Okay, hi. So today we're so excited that we're going to really get into some interesting details about the Denver Public Library. So we have Amy Delpo here, as well as Jennifer Dewey. And Jen and I have worked together for a long time now. And it's just so marvelous to see how many things are possible and in combination between the Denver Public Library and Senior Planet. You can keep everybody super busy all the time. So with that, Amy, why don't you go ahead and get started? I will manage the chat and make sure that you get all the questions. You and Jen get the questions to answer. And I'll keep admitting people as they pop in.
Okay, thank you so much, Judy. My name is Amy Delpo, and I am the Administrator of Older Adult Services at the Denver Public Library. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in more detail later. But at DPL, we define older as 50 plus, which I think is the same as Senior Planet, right, Judy?
We're 60 plus.
You're 60 and up. So we skew a little younger. So I always say there are a lot of people out there who are older and they don't even know it yet, because we start at 50. And I basically oversee everything we do in terms of classes, programs, outreach, partnerships when it comes to people 50 and older in Denver. And Senior Planet is a fantastic partner to us. Senior Planet has done a lot of tech training our branches when we were able to do that. But we really enjoy working with Senior Planet and truly value the contribution they make to getting older kind of vibrant, fun, and a renewed time of lifelong learning. I can see most of you on gallery view. While I can see you, how many of you use the library? Can you just wave at me if you use the library? Awesome, that's great. I'm glad to see that. If you don't, maybe put in the chat some of your.
Can I interrupt you 1 second?
Yep.
We've got people on who are not from Denver but are from Colorado. Could you repeat that you said before about how you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So sorry.
And I would say for the people who aren't Denver, we're going to be talking about the Denver Public Library today. 2 things to know. A lot of what we're going to say is true of any library. And so it's probably generally applicable to, like, if you're at Jefferson County or Arapahoe or wherever, probably a lot of what we're going to say is the same. And I think the thing that Judy was really intrigued by is any Colorado resident can get a library card at any Colorado library. So even if you don't live in Denver proper, if you live in Centennial or Littleton or Breckenridge or I don't know where, you can get a Denver Public Library card. So, and definitely take advantage of our online stuff. So it will be applicable to you as well. If you don't mind, as I'm kind of talking, if you could maybe put in the chat, those of you who have used the library, some of your favorite things that you like to do. It's always interesting for us to see why people are using the library, how they're using the library, what they love about the library. That's something, that's a trick, the getting library cards other places, Dave. So with that, while you guys are kind of maybe talking in the chat about why use the library, and Jen will, I think, monitor that as well. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, can I share my screen, Judy? It says,
let me make you co-host.
I think you have to make me a co-host.
Yes,
maybe.
You are now a co-host.
Okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go pretty quick. And if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and I'm sure Judy will interrupt me. All right. So I hope everybody can see that. If you can see it, kind of give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, great. So as I said, I'm Amy Delpo. I'm the Administrator of Older Adult Services, and with me is Jennifer Dewey. She'll talk in a minute. She is our adult programming librarian, and she and I work really closely together to create the programs and services that we have for older adults in Denver. This is the Denver Public Library mission, and we really value creating spaces where people can explore, connect, have the best life that they can possibly have. And when we say spaces, we don't just mean library buildings. We mean we'll go to where you are. We'll go to senior living facilities. We'll come over to Senior Planet. We'll go to parks. And especially right now, we're talking about virtual spaces as well. So even in this awful time of COVID, we still really value this mission. We are the most visited cultural institution in Denver, which is kind of a little unfair to say because we have 26 branches, and like the Denver Art Museum has one building, but still we're gonna brag and say we're the most visited. We have more than 4 million annual visits a year, more than 6 million website visits a year. We circulate more than 9 million physical and digital materials. And we also have just tons of volunteer hours. We really value our volunteers and need them desperately to do our job. And we'll talk about that a little more in a minute. Most of the people say that when they attended a program for older adults, they feel happier, they feel less lonely and more connected. And that's definitely one of my goals, as I'll tell you later in the presentation. And this statistic always surprises me. About 2,500 people a day walk into our central branch. That's a lot of people who we serve just downtown at only one branch. So we had to, I think some of you were saying you missed the library. We really, really miss you. But we have, since we closed our doors in March, we have done a lot of work to try and keep the library relevant and keep it as a force in people's lives. We're doing a lot of virtual programs. We have something called Litline, where you can call and hear somebody read a story or poem out loud. We have a postcard pen pal program, curbside pickup, which I hope you all are taking advantage of, phone reference, and phone tech support. And we'll go through these in more detail a little later. So I'm going to turn it over to Jen now, and Jen's going to talk. Jen, I can just keep sharing and you can tell me when to advance slides if that works for you.
That is perfect. Thank you, Amy. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming again today. I'm an adult programming librarian at Denver Public Library. What that means is I help with everything related to programming and I give our staff the tools that they need to bring these programs to Denver and now beyond, which is one of the great things that is happening during COVID. So we mentioned a couple times before, you don't have to live in Denver to get a Denver Public Library card. If you don't have one, you can actually visit our website right now and get one today. So if you go to our website, denverlibrary.org, and click in the upper right-hand corner, I think it says get a library card. You can actually sign up for one. Then and there, you just have to have a Colorado address. That's the only prerequisite for getting a library card. And I have to give a disclaimer. It's not a secret, but it feels like it should be. All of this stuff that we're going to talk about is available for free. So keep that in mind as we're going through. No charge for anything ever with the library. Or one of my coworkers used to like to call it prepaid. So I'm going to go through some resources quickly-ish, but you'll know from talking to me and Amy that we love talking about library stuff. So pop any questions into the chat and Amy or Judy can stop me as we go. So one of the things that you can do is learn a new language. Mango Languages is an online learning platform. It's also an app. And when you access it through Denver Public Library, it's all free. It's really similar to Rosetta Stone, where you're kind of learning through conversation and reading and actually speaking to your computer to learn tons and tons of different languages. It's for adults, but it's actually good for all ages. I have a 6-year-old who is learning Spanish through Mango while we're at home, and he's not in school now. So that's cool. So share it with the youth in your life as well. We have a ton of online databases that you can check out. Medline Plus is a consumer health information website, and all of the stuff in it is from the National Library of Medicine. So it's current, it's researched, and you can kind of rely on it. There are articles, videos, and all sorts of other cool tools there. So check out Medline Plus. Consumer Reports, one of my favorites. You can access these online totally for free. We have back issues, the most current issues, the automotive issue. You can search by product. I always check it out whenever I'm about to make a purchase, accessible through our website. I'm going to be a broken record with your library card. We were talking earlier, I think a few people have said they love the ebook options. I'm addicted as well to the Libby app and to audio ebooks. We've got, like we said, ebooks, audio ebooks, magazines available as well. All your favorites from the newsstand are available that you can read on your phone, on your computer, or your tablet. Let's see. Oh, and also I wanted to mention with audio books and ebooks, if you get stuck, which, you know, as you're setting it up, if you haven't used it before, just give us a call or chat us and we can walk you through the whole process, because we don't want it to be intimidating, because once you get going, it may be a little foreign at first, but once you get going, it's really pretty easy to use those platforms. All right, Kanopy. Okay. For anyone who's a film person, we've got a couple of streaming services that I'm going to highlight Kanopy because it is so cool. Think documentaries, think indie films, PBS specials, Ken Burns, Criterion Collection. There's so much cool stuff available to stream from this with your library card. Right now, it is only available to people with a Denver zip code. So sorry. This is one of the things, if you're out of Denver, that you can't access, but your library might also subscribe to Kanopy or Hoopla or another video streaming service. So be sure to check with them. We're doing a couple, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt and say you can also get great courses on Kanopy. I know that the great courses are really popular, especially for older adults, and they cost a lot of money, and that we have those on Kanopy, so.
I was looking this morning and I think we have like 6,000 great courses videos on Kanopy. And if you're not familiar with great courses, it's like going back to your favorite college class. There's, you know, they're by experts and professors, and it's like everything from philosophy, health, art, science, history, like every topic imaginable. There's also kids stuff on Kanopy as well. So check that out. Our staff offers a thing called a personalized reading list. And what it is you go to denverlibrary.org/reads. You fill out a pretty brief form telling us a little bit about yourself and what you've read in the past and enjoyed. And then a few days later, one of our staff emails you with 5 to 8 customized recommendations based on what you said you liked. And it's not just a list, it's like a letter that you get in your inbox that's really long and detailed about, you know, why this library staff member picked these titles and why they thought you would like them. We also do it for teens and kiddos too, so check that out. It is so cool. I've done it a couple of times, and I'm a librarian, but just getting that feedback from others and learning about new stuff to read, it's like the Amazon recommendations on steroids, like way better. So check out the personalized reading list.
Well, and with Amazon, I think, you know, a lot of marketers do Amazon. We have no profit motive to our Rex. It's purely, we want people to love what they read and watch.
I'm already so excited. I can't stand it.
Good. I hope you're learning about some things that you didn't know about.
I did not know that I could get a personal shopper to do to pick my books. That is
Exactly.
great. That's what we'll need to do when we start that book club. So we're getting ready to do that.
Yeah, and we make sure that when we do recommend titles that we have them in our collection, so you can, as soon as you see what they recommend, you can go in and place holds on them, either for ebooks or for physical books, and pick them up.
Oh,
so that is nice. Also free, not Amazon-like. So
yeah.
Yeah. So this slide, it's one of those that there's going to be a few to kind of like file away for later, post-COVID times maybe, but maybe for now too. We check out museum and cultural passes 2 places here in Denver. Some are opening slowly. They all have kind of different protocols with what you have to do to reserve your pass and how to show up to the actual place. But right now I know the Butterfly Pavilion, the Firefighters Museum, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, the zoo, Forney Museum of Transportation, and the Molly Brown House Museum are all open. So that is an opportunity. And also the list just gets longer when we're reopened. The list of cultural institutions you can borrow passes to is pretty amazing. You can also put on hold a state parks pass too. No, you're totally fine. That is so cool. You can go to any state park for free. You just go into our website, search for state parks pass, and put it on hold like you would a book. They're in high demand right now because we're all looking for stuff to do outdoors, but check that out too. So programs, these are obviously pictures from our in-person programs, but we offer in-person, we were offering programs every single day for all ages at all 26 of our locations every single day. And we've actually brought a lot of them online virtually, getting inspiration from Senior Planet, of course. We have everything from lectures to crafts to book clubs, history, genealogy, music performance, art making, everything that you can imagine we do for all ages. And we have those all listed on our website, so you can go there, and some of our programs take registration right now just to get you that meeting information virtually. So go check it out and register for some programs.
Jen, did you have was it a marijuana for older adults? Is that going to be repeated?
I can look into repeating that, Judy. That was last week. We're doing a Talk with the Doc series,
Yeah.
a summer health and wellness series. I can also share the slides out, but I think it was extremely popular. We had like more than 50 people register for it. So why do you ask her? Were you interested in attending and you couldn't attend, or did people ask you about it?
I can't really attend any of them during the day because of working, but it wasn't only that, it was that I'd like to promote that for Senior Planet, because there's so much misinformation and misunderstanding, and I think it's especially in this state, it's a really good topic to get a doctor to talk about. I've been looking for a subject matter expert for years, on that, even in my old job, that where you would really be able to impart some good factual information. I know at the time I was looking, there weren't really studies yet or anything like that. So I wanted to see if that.
And that I think it's still sort of the case, because marijuana is still illegal federally. So there's not a lot of federal dollars to do research. But what I liked about it was, I think and other organizations have used like pod shops to do presentations, and I believe so strongly in high quality research-based information for people. And so this was a doctor from the Multidisciplinary Center on Aging at CU Anschutz. And it was kind of dry, but people really appreciated the fact that it was like factual, unbiased, calm. She didn't have an agenda. She wasn't saying do it, don't do it. She was just like, this is what we know. This is what's possible. So I will keep you in the loop, Judy, if I do it again. And I'm also happy to share her information with you afterward.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I want to figure out a way where we can talk offline about how to, I think once we all kind of get a feel for all these things that are available, and then look to make sure that our Senior Planet people are all keyed into everything going on at the library.
That would be great. That would be great.
Thanks for thinking of that, Judy. And Amy will talk more about some specific programs later on too. We have robust services for immigrants and refugee communities too. Right now, virtually, people can make appointments and go to programs about citizenship, English language acquisition, homework help, and a ton more. And we also offer kind of just more fun programs that highlight the immigrant and refugee experience. and just amplify those voices. And that program, if you're interested, is usually called Plaza. And tech, obviously, Senior Planet is a big inspiration for us and a great, amazing partner. We've done some classes with them before. All of our locations have computers and laptops, and we have a big computer lab downtown as well. We have tech staff who's trained, and right now you can actually make a 1-hour one-on-one appointment with any of our trained staff using this phone number or this email address. And any tech questions, they'll set up either a phone meeting or a video chat with you to work through any kinks that you're having with whatever you're having. So that's really cool. And a few of our locations are offering walk-up service where we've got laptops outside, of course, physically distanced with masks on and all of that. So we're slowly expanding that, trying to get computers to folks who don't have them or don't have Wi-Fi at home, internet access, because right now with COVID, those folks are just more cut off from services and just cut off from communication. So we're trying to get out to them too. And shout out to Iris. I'm not sure if we have any other volunteers here with us, but this is another save it for when we're reopened. But like Amy mentioned in the statistics earlier, we have hundreds of volunteers. They do everything from working with our Friends Foundation in our bookshop to shelving holds at the library branches to doing research, helping customers. We just love them and thank them so much. And if you're ever interested in volunteering, don't hesitate to reach out once we're kind of back in the safe zone with COVID. Youth programs too. I won't go into super detail here, but we just know that we have so many youth programs right now in the virtual world. We're doing story times Monday through Friday, 3 different age groups and in Spanish. Those are all on our YouTube channel. So if you have kiddos, you can actually go back and like watch the old episodes of story times, find your favorite staff members and connect that way. I should also say that on YouTube, it's not just kid content, and we're going to hopefully expand our content on YouTube. There's stuff for adults too, some videos where you get to see some how-tos with our staff. It's pretty fun to explore, so check that out. We're still doing Summer of Adventure, which is our summer reading program, and a maker challenge too. So tons of kids stuff going on, even in the virtual world. So Idea Labs, yeah.
So I want to talk about the kids for a bit, because many of us have grandchildren and many of us are, you know, in tune with what's going on in the, specifically in the Denver Public Schools and others. Is there any coordination between the Denver Public Schools and the Denver Library for the, you know, online learning versus in-person learning?
I know that we're closely in communication with them, and we're basing our reopening phases to kind of on DPS's timeline. I know that our youth services are providing resources for teachers and administrators at DPS. I'm not exactly sure specifically on like the online learning platforms, but if you we can reach out to the youth services folks too and get more information, but they do work really closely. I forgot to mention about our volunteers, we do our Read Aloud program, which sends deep Denver Library volunteers out into public school classrooms. And I know that we're doing that virtually. We were when school was still happening, and I think we're gonna continue that when school reopens, so we're not losing that connection with the kids when they're at home. Because I muted myself a minute ago because my kids just came in, and I'm sure you might hear them screaming at some point. So, because our home life and our—
We love that. We love.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So Idea Labs are Denver Public Library's maker spaces. They are in 5, soon to be 6 of our locations. And they are just these amazing spaces with all of the tools that you need to make stuff. So there's everything from sewing machines to 3D printers, laser cutters, audio recording booths, Adobe Creative Suite, tons and tons of stuff. They do classes too, and it's for all ages. So what they've been doing too while we've been closed is they've been using their 3D printers to create personal protective equipment for healthcare workers, which is super cool. And with our sewing machines and all of our creative staff, we've also been sewing fabric masks for people in the metro area too. So that's amazing. But stay tuned, because they're going to be offering some more crafty DIY maker programming on our YouTube very soon, and some meetup programs too. So keep an eye there and be sure to visit when we reopen.
So Jen, I just wanted to say I did outreach to some of the homeless encampments yesterday.
Oh, nice.
The library's been going out and handing out waters and things, and I handed out all of our homemade masks, and people were so grateful to have those. So it's just another way that the library is kind of contributing to the community.
Yeah, that's great. So if you have research questions for your business, for your kids in school, our reference staff is on call all the time. So we've got phone-in times. You can call Tuesday through Friday from noon to 6, or on Saturdays from 10 to 1 to ask any type of question. Or you can also hop on our website, and there's 24/7 chat where you're actually going to be talking to a human that you can ask questions of, and they'll refer you to wherever you need to get to. We also offer business services too, for if people starting up small businesses and entrepreneurs. And so I have a feeling that that's just going to be really necessary after and during COVID too. So check that out.
And also, I know that the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs is older adults starting new businesses. And when we say we have business services, they're extremely robust. We have really powerful data sets that can be analyzed and used for people to figure out where to put their business, how to get a small business loan, how to come up with a plan. I mean, they're just very extensive services. So if any of you are thinking about starting a small business, I highly recommend making an appointment with that team.
So Western History and Genealogy and our Blair Caldwell African American Research Library are two very special places. Blair Caldwell African American Research Library is in historic Five Points, and they've got archives, photos, a wonderful blog. They've got a museum space when we're reopened, and a gallery space too. Blair Caldwell highlights African Americans in Denver and Colorado and the American West. So it's a really special place. Western History and Genealogy, that department is downtown in our central library. Again, when you're in person, go visit, because the staff there is just so special. We've got a huge art collection, manuscripts, rare books, maps, so much cool stuff. And even though it's not quite the same, they have tons of this online. They've been working on it for years and years. So if you want to go online and research building history, or, there's a huge photo archive. They also have the Rocky Mountain News archives too. So it's like very old things and some newer things. It's just fantastic. And Ancestry, which is, I'm not sure if y'all have used it. It's a wormhole. You can spend days and days. It's free right now with your library card. Normally you have to be in a library location, but since we're all at home, they've opened it up. So check that out too, because it's just amazing. Okay, so in 2015, DPL hired our first community resource specialist, which is basically a social worker who connects people, meets with people where they are in the library, and it connects them with services that they might need. And shortly after that, we started hiring peer navigators. And those are folks that have lived experience, and that means that they are in recovery and have found stabilization with issues regarding housing, mental health, or substance abuse. So they're super equipped to actually non-judgmentally meet with people and connect them with things that can help with housing, help with food shortage, mental health, abuse, all of those life challenges that people are facing. And I mean, it's so important all the time, but especially right now, you know, Denver's seeing an uptick in homelessness and addiction and suicide. And so our folks are actually, like Amy said, she was just at a shelter yesterday. Our team is out on the streets, handing out water, connecting people with resources every day. So we're super lucky to have that as part of a library service. And so much more, just the catch-all. There's so much more that we could talk for another hour on this, but for now, I'll just say, check out our website, take advantage of all this fun stuff, and I'll turn it over to Amy to talk more about older adult services.
Okay, thank you, Jen. And just before I forget, if you have any questions, if you have any difficulty accessing any resources, Judy has my email. I'm happy to have people email me, text me, whatever. I am available to all of you and to everyone else in Denver. So as I said, oh yeah, Judy?
Just so you're aware, after this, they will be getting a follow-up email with all the information from the chat and your contact information and all of that, Perfect. The website information.
And I'm also happy to share the slides if you want, so just let me know. So as I said, I do older adult services at the library. We define older adult as anyone 50 plus. Right now, 27% of people living in our service area are older adults. And that's just gonna grow, as I think we all know. And depending on the branch, the percentages are even higher. Like Ross Cherry Creek, I don't know if anyone here lives over there, 41% are older adults. So we love our older adult customers and volunteers, and I find it very exciting to be developing services and programs specifically for this demographic. This isn't just my job, it's my passion. I just love working and doing all of this and having partnerships like with Senior Planet is just a big joy in my life. I take a positive aging approach at DPL. Traditionally, libraries used to take this very deficit-based approach to older adult services, and it was like rocking chairs and large print books and homebound services. And yes, those are important things to have, but older adults today are seeking like incredible challenges, meaning, lifelong learning, just all sorts of things. I kind of view getting older or being sort of 50 plus as this really powerful and important time of life where people can reinvent themselves, they can discover things that they never had the opportunity to discover, and we really want to support that. At the same time, we recognize there are some realities to getting older that people also want help with. And so we try to work with that entire continuum with our older adult services. But mostly we view age as a gift, not a problem. We think that it's a great gift that our kind of extended lifespans that we enjoy in this country. This is just some of the stuff that falls under my purview. Everything from training staff in terms of how the adult brain learns or older adult development to providing creative aging programming, which would be art classes or music classes, to supporting older adults who want to volunteer. One thing we do know is that just like there are stages of child development, there are stages of aging and stages of older adult development, and we want to honor and support those so that people can thrive. And so everything I do kind of has that as its context. We partner with a lot of wonderful organizations, including Senior Planet. So part of my job is not just to provide to you what the library has, but also to connect you with other organizations that might have something that we don't offer, or to help these organizations connect with people in the community. So I'm going to just talk about a few of the programs that we have going on right now, just so you can understand a little bit about what we're doing. One of the buckets of programming I work on is health and wellness. And as I mentioned in conversation with Judy a little while ago, I believe really, really strongly in research-based, high-quality information from experts who aren't trying to make money off of the people who are watching the program. And so one of the things we're doing is teaming up with the Multidisciplinary Center on Aging at CU Anschutz to present a summer health and wellness series. We just had our marijuana and aging one last week. Tomorrow we have one on hearing and auditory changes as we age, which is super important because if you start to lose your hearing, there's a direct connection to developing dementia. And so it's a very important thing to address and not just kind of let slide. And then we're going to do nutrition, and then last, preventing falls, and all of these you can register for on our website. Every Tuesday at 1:30, we have a virtual memory cafe, which is for people experiencing memory loss along with their friends, family members, and caregivers. It is just a fun, connected, beautiful space. In fact, when you all were coming on today, it sort of reminded me of Memory Cafe. Like, you come on, you see someone you know, you start chatting. The Denver Art Museum comes once a month and presents some of their art. We have music, we create art. I have different institutions in the city come, like the Botanic Gardens, to present. So if you or anyone you know is experiencing memory loss and wanting to connect, this is a safe, really nurturing space, and it's every Tuesday at 1:30 on Zoom. We used to do it at the Schlesman branch in Lowry, but can't do that right now. So also right now we're doing a mindfulness-based stress reduction class. There's a lot of research that shows that mindfulness, meditation, these are connected to better health outcomes, better emotional and psychological outcomes for people as they age. And so we have been doing that class. We're going to do our 3rd or 4th session, I can't remember, tomorrow. And so this is just another example of some of the breadth of programming we do. This would fall also on kind of that health and wellness. I also believe really strongly in creative aging. Creative aging is high quality teaching artists, professional artists, teaching classes with high quality materials and standards. So it's not putting macaroni on a plate, or I don't know what the awful equivalent is of what people might do. But for us, for example, at the Sam Gary branch earlier this year, pre-COVID, we did an acrylic painting class with Tony Ortega, who's a relatively well-known artist here in Denver. He has art at the Denver Art Museum. He teaches at Regis University, and he basically took that class and taught it in the library with really excellent materials and tools, and recognizing that the participants are artists and want to learn a craft, a high quality skill. And so Story Center, this is just another example we're doing in the virtual space. Story Center is a national organization that does digital storytelling. And they are just wonderful, empathetic, creative people who really inspire and help people craft their own stories. They believe in the power of story. And so we're doing a reflective life writing workshop once a month with Story Center. I really invite all of you to come. The person who facilitates it is amazing. We also have book clubs scattered. They were based in our branches. Now they're all online. You can go online and find your favorite book club. Some book clubs are kind of like, I think what Senior Planet is doing, where you read a specific book, everybody reads the book and talks about it. But we also have a book club called No Strings Attached Book Club, in which people read just what they want to read, and then they get together and they tell each other about what they read. And it's a great way to get recommendations. It's a great way to share and connect. And so these are really popular among older adults. And we also have movie clubs where you watch a movie and then you get together and you talk about it. And Jen, maybe you could talk a little bit more about the movie opportunities.
Yeah, I think we have 3 movie clubs going right now. One is every Saturday morning, and they pick, I think, a film typically off of Canopy. And I can't remember where he's from. They have a person who leads it every week and is kind of like a film expert. We also have, I think, a monthly documentary series. So they just watch a documentary, get together and talk about it. And then one other one that's, I think, kind of like more freeform. So there's always one going, and they're all kind of that same format, because a lot of these streaming services, they don't have licensing for us to do public screenings together. So we can't watch it together, but we can get together after and talk about it.
Yeah, and there's so much more. You wouldn't think you could do a cooking class online, but we have been doing cooking classes. and those are super popular. There's music. I mean, there's just so much available, and I hope you'll go to our website and click on events and just look at what's going on. Some things are designed specifically for older adults, like the NBSR series is designed specifically for people 50 and older. The health and wellness designed specifically for people 50 and older. But everything on the website that you're interested in is available to you regardless of your age. So the library is really a wonderful, welcoming space for older adults. Pre-COVID, one of our big draws is that we're in each community, we're easy to reach, we have parking, most branches do. We're familiar and we're free. And the familiarity piece is a really important part of what we try to do. We try to get to know our customers and have them get to know us. I had a man come to Memory Cafe who his mother had brought him to the library when he was a child. And then when he grew up and got married, he brought his children to the library. And then at Memory Cafe, he had started developing a little dementia. His child was bringing him to the library. And it was so beautiful that the entire arc of his life, all these connections, that this kind of central piece was coming to the library as a family. And he had such positive associations. It was really heartwarming for me. There are no barriers to participation, no matter who you are, how much money you have. We are welcoming to all. That is a major, major value of ours, to be welcoming to all. There's no stigma to walking into our doors. We're multi-generational. You'll see children, you'll see people older than you, you'll see, just a variety of everyone in Denver you'll see at the Denver Public Library. As I said, we're welcome to all. All of our staff are trained in customer service techniques. We really highly value customer service. If you're ever there and you don't get good customer service, please let us know. It is one of our core values to provide excellent service to the people who walk in. And we are one of the most trusted information sources, and we take that really seriously. And again, that's why I'm so committed to having only certain people present. And we find that to be one of our biggest responsibilities, to prevent reliable, high quality information to folks who come in our doors. We ourselves are experts in a lot of things like genealogy, Western history, technology, early learning, adult development. We have a lot of expertise, a lot of different people. And we also, as I said earlier, the community gathers in the library. We are passionate about community and the importance of community to create a web of support and connection for people so they have high quality lives. When we're not in COVID, you can enjoy our beautiful public spaces. A lot of people come and unlike Starbucks, you don't have to buy a cup of coffee, you can just hang out. And we have a lot of small business people who they kind of run their business from a table in the library. A lot of people who are working from home come and hang out in the library so that they're not alone. And they're just beautiful places to be. One little tip, all the libraries have Wi-Fi that is accessible in the parking lot and outside. So even though our buildings are closed, if you're driving around and you're like, I need to hop on Wi-Fi, go to the public library. There'll be Wi-Fi right there. And we have welcoming people who we really do miss everyone. And I think I can speak for every single person who works in the library and say that we will be very happy when we can open our doors again. And that's it. I'm going to stop screen sharing so that I can actually look at you guys. And I wasn't able to monitor the chat because I was screen sharing. Judy, I don't know if we want to open for questions.
Really
a little bit more time.
Well, you might want to put some more questions in now or just speak up. But Mary Lou, she put BritBox with a question mark. What is that? Do you know? BritBox?
I wish we had that.
From her camera there.
I wish we did, but we don't have that right now, unfortunately. You might, I'm not 100% sure about TV shows, but you might find some overlap on Kanopy, possibly.
Is BritBox just another type of Kanopy?
Yeah, it's another subscription.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Wait, we've got something at the bottom here. Oh, just wonderful presentation. I mean, you just covered everything. I think though, I want to go back to the list here. When you were talking about the passes for the zoo and museums, the cultural passes, the state parks. So what you're basically doing is you're going to the library or website, whatever, whichever, and you're requesting a free pass for one particular time, like one date versus like an annual pass. Is that correct? Did I understand?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, it's like a
I don't-
one time.
Oh, sorry, Jen. I
Oh
don't
no,
think
go
you
ahead.
put in like, I want, August 1st. You just request the pass and it comes. And usually because these are in such high demand, what most people do is they just put them on hold. And then when they're told that they come, they kind of plan their outing around when the pass arrives.
Mhm.
And so I've had a lot of people tell me that that's just what works for them is they just put them all on hold. Kind of like you read a book when the book arrives.
Yeah, right.
Go to the park when, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all a little bit different too. Like, I think a couple of them you can reserve a specific date, but like it's across the board. So I shared the link to the page where it tells you exactly. So yes, you're going to get that where you just have to wait and see and hope that you're free that time span that you have the pass, and some that you can specifically reserve it. And we're getting more all the time. I think there are some, when things are open, there's like DCPA passes that just go like crazy. Like we'll put it on our blog and the hold list will fill up and they're gone. So
Yeah. DCPA, that's remarkable. Okay, Connie, go ahead. You had a question.
Yeah, my question was, do you have any programs or any outreaches for voting or getting people registered to vote or doing something educational about voting?
I think, so we have a couple of staff that are specifically working on that right now. Just like we have some outreach around the census too. It's kind of that year for everything. I think that we're going to host an Active Minds Colorado Ballot Initiatives program. We don't have that set up yet, but that'll probably be in early October. And I'm not sure, but there's been discussion around, getting out to where we're doing our curbside hold pickups and working with people out and about too. There's going to hopefully be at least some referrals or information sharing about how to register to vote too.
And my other question was about your ancestry. You mentioned it's such a wormhole. I've tried to do it by myself, and I've also gone to the Central Library and done it with reference librarians, and they're fantastic. I was wondering if those same reference librarians are doing any kind of outreach, or you can chat while you're still trying to find your ancestry from 1912.
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that because that staff is still working right now remotely, which is awesome. They still have their general form up. I'll put a couple of websites in the chat in a minute. You can actually ask a specific question. And I think if you've not met James Jeffrey, he's kind of the resident. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yes.
He's been doing a little bit more work where he'll specifically spend an hour for each customer to help them, which is really special. And we didn't get to do that because we're so busy in person. And so now I'll put a couple links in to access that.
Thank you.
So Jen, while you're doing those links, I did want to also something we neglected to mention is the library is really active on social media. If any of you do Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you can follow the Denver Public Library and you'll hear about things like these passes or programs. So you can register and sign up for them. But also every branch has its own Facebook page and they try to be really community-based about what they post on those pages. So if there's a branch you use and love, I really encourage you to follow that branch on Facebook. Each branch is a little different about what they post, but you can follow both the library as a whole, and then each individual branch.
You can also sign up for the newsletters. I'm sorry if you've said that too, Amy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We also have newsletters that come, I think, monthly. The library is really obsessed with privacy. We don't track what people do. We don't track what they watch. We don't keep track of their books unless they specifically choose that option. And so I don't know if you've noticed, but those of you with library cards, you don't get a lot of emails from us. Probably no emails unless you've had a book for like 90 days or something. So if you want to hear from us, you actually have to actively ask to be connected with us. So signing up for newsletters is one of those ways, and social media is another one of those ways.
Any other questions or comments anybody has? Iris, would you mind talking a little bit about your volunteer experience with the library?
Well, what I've been doing mostly in the past 10 years is looking up information people write into the library, or they email the library, or they call, and they're looking for specific information. It could be a newspaper article. Somebody at one point was doing something about the comics, and I had to look up these the pages for the comics and copy them, and they got sent out to that person. Very often people are looking for ancestors who are deceased, and they're hoping for an obituary, which sometimes is disappointing because there is no obituary. There's just, you know, a notice in the paper. Sometimes nothing is found, but you know, that's part of the whole thing. But looking up something in, it can be in a book that I have to get, you know, pull the book and look for what they're asking for, make a copy, and it gets sent out to them. But prior to that, I have done some other stuff. I had worked at home. I had worked on an index that's at the library, and that kind of thing.
That's wonderful, Iris. 10 years, so devoted. That's incredible. Plus, it must be
So that's the last 10 years. I've been there over 25 years.
oh my gosh, that's
part.
amazing. Oh, wonderful. Oh my gosh, the super volunteer.
Oh, and if any of you ever get a book on hold, it's probably a volunteer who pulled that book and sent it to you. So that's a big thing our volunteers do. They read out loud to children at preschools. We really highly value our volunteers. So
I gotta
thank
say,
you, Iris.
I'm
I
sorry.
have to give more volunteer love. I think she was just thanking you, Iris, and Iris is a phenomenal researcher, and there are so many of our volunteers that have these skills, and we try to match them with those skills so they can really shine. So thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot to say that I was in Western History and Genealogy department. So it's a different job than other parts of the library.
Wow, that's fascinating. And you know, Jen and Amy, Iris has been on almost 100 of these calls too. So is our loyal, we've got a number of very loyal followers here. So most of who are on the call now. But I just wanted to see if, oh yeah, Lois, you have your hand up, so go ahead. Oh, come off mute. You're still on mute, Lois. Are you on two devices? You've got the iPhone and then there's another. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay. The Central Library had a section, I think the 5th floor, just before they're closed, there was a way to look at the history of the house that you live in, whether there was a permit and who lived there and so forth. But is that, would that still be, is James Jeffrey or someone that would help with that? I wanted to find out the history of the home that I bought, and I was told that that I could do that on the 5th floor of the library, where the genealogy and there's a history department there.
Yep, that's exactly right. And you can actually start doing a little bit of research online. I'll put another link into the chat too.
Okay.
You can search the historical assessor records. You can look at maps, and you can also search directories too for who might have been living in a property. And there's a lot more too, but I'll pop a link in there. And I'll also link again to the question form that they're using in the Western History and Genealogy Department, which is where the building histories are too. So if you get a little far, you get stuck, you can like send them the address that you're looking for, and they might be able to point you to more direct sources.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful, because about the time I was going to do more with that, then it was closed. So appreciate that. Thank you very much.
That's very
And I just wanted to answer, someone asked about, can you get an email with all of the events? I think that was Dave maybe. And unfortunately, we really don't have an email that goes out with every event. I wish we did, but we don't do that. The way to find out about things happening is signing up for newsletters. Some will be there, some will be on social media, but really what we rely on is people coming to the website and looking at the events calendar themselves. So not ideal. I love Senior Planet's emails. I get one every week. I love like getting the email, and I plan and I look at everything that's happening. I think it's amazing. And I wish we did something like that, but we just don't. One thing maybe we can talk to Judy about is letting you all know about events that you're most interested in. So.
Well, I started to put the resources at the bottom of the email that are there each, so that it's grown a little bit. And so I'll do that. I'll put the Denver Public Library there, and I'll just, and I'll also say, or your local library, but I'll hyperlink it to the Denver Public Library website. So
that would be great. Thank
yeah,
you.
so that will be a little bit of a reminder. Yeah, it's difficult because I'd love to just post all of your events with ours in many cases. But I'm not allowed to do that. So I have a stumbling block there, but I want to figure out a way that we can be more mindful and remind everybody to check the website. I wish, on one hand, I wish we were like you in that, we were relying on people to go to the website more, but that hasn't happened. So we're doing these newsletters, which are rather time consuming.
I love them though. They're so helpful. One thing I did want to mention that's coming up that I'll send you the email about when we have it is there's a kind of a sexual health, sex and dating expert for Senior Planet, Joan Price, who's I think
we had her as a live stream program before.
Well, we just kind of finalized the plan. She's going to do a aging, dating, and sex series for us in I think September and October. And so I will definitely let you know, because we found her through Senior Planet.
She was
amazing.
It was really funny because we were live streaming her up in the the big front room there, and there was a class going on in the back training room. And so as it was going on, that class had ended midstream, and they were walking through, and I don't know what it was that she had said. And, and you could see their faces like, what are you guys lost? It was pretty funny, but yeah, she was a very good subject matter expert for sure. So any other questions, or, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to dive into some of these things that I was not aware of.
Right. Agreed.
What was the name of the book club?
Go ahead, Alberta.
What was the name of the book group that doesn't read a specific book, just gives their suggestions? What
It's the
group is-
No Strings Attached Book Club.
Okay.
It started at Park Hill, but now it's virtual. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Jen, do you have that at your fingertips to put in the chat?
I can find it quickly. I think it is every other Saturday.
Yeah, and it's
Morning,
super,
yeah.
it's a wonderful group of people, a wonderful group of people.
Good.
Um,
I live in Mesa County, and our library, through the Marmot libraries, has most of the programs and things that you've been talking about. But I love book clubs as this because you get such good ideas of what am I going to read next. So thank
Yeah.
you so much. Very
Yeah,
important.
it started a long time ago. I started something called Book Schlesman, where it was kind of a read anything you want book club, and then it sort of morphed into this book club at Park Hill, and now it's morphed again into this online presence. But really a great group of people. It's so eclectic. Like you hear, I hear about books I never would know about, except
Right.
hear about them because people are reading them. So I think Jen was
Thank you.
able to put that in the chat, I think.
I am not able to pull it up right now while it's being funny, but I also wanted to say every Friday at 5 o'clock, but you don't have to go there at 5 because it's on our YouTube page. So it's always there. There's a thing called Friday 5 at 5 where our librarians recommend 5 books that they're liking. So you can go to our YouTube, just search Denver Library YouTube, and you can go back and see all the archives of that too.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Phyllis.
Mostly, I live near the even though I live in Denver, I live near the May Library, Arapahoe County, so I do a lot there. But they had FreeGal, and I think you had FreeGal, the music, which was you could download 3 songs a week. And then all of a sudden, the Denver area doesn't have it, but like maybe Jefferson County has it, because I recommended it to somebody and then I looked and it wasn't there anymore. How come that's gone instead
That's
of
a good
streaming?
question. I'm actually looking at their website right now.
What is
It
it?
says the
It's called, I don't know how you pronounce it. I always say Freegal or Freegal.
I
It-
say FreeGal.
yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, Phyllis. You and I can just go back.
That's how
and
I remember it. It's easy to remember as FreeGal, and that's why.
Yes, so I used to use it as well. I don't know why we don't have it anymore. There's a whole other department that makes decisions about kind of our streaming, downloading databases. And sometimes it comes down to money. Sometimes these services end up creating a lot of restrictions that we end up deciding we don't want to be a part of. There's just a million things that go into the mix. That being said, if you liked the service and you miss it, please let us know. Like fill out a comment card or, I'm sorry?
I miss it.
I
Well,
will
you
let, so the woman, I'll let
have
the
to go
woman know.
looking. You can keep them on your phone, so you
Yeah.
don't lose them. So that's the nice part of it.
It is nice. One of the things that I really value about the library is it takes customer comments very seriously.
Do I have to
Very
write out a comment card eventually?
Well, you know what? I will do this for you. I know the woman who makes these decisions, and I'll let her know that I did this presentation and someone asked about it. I really value
I told people to go there and it wasn't there, and I went, oh.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but I will pass it along that it's a missed service.
Yeah. And if you love something, like you said, refer other people and use it, because it looks like Arapahoe just discontinued it because it wasn't getting enough use to make it cost effective for them.
Nobody knew about it. Not many people knew about it, so.
Yeah, that's what's difficult when you are an organization like the Denver Public Library offering so many services. It's hard to, I mean, even I know as Senior Planet, where I think we have obviously more of a focus, it's still really hard to make it clear what all the offerings are and what to take advantage of. So this is great. I wanted to know, is there anything that, you know, is there a specific flyer or brochure or something that is like a complete checklist of not necessarily defining out what everything is specifically, but at least for people to inquire about, or are you relying again solely on the website?
Right now, I would say there's not. That would be lovely to have something like that. Right now, we're using the website. When we were open in person, we did have one publication called Engage that did have pretty.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So that was all of our programs in one spot, but not right now. There's not a collected one-stop shop besides the website, which isn't accessible to everyone. We acknowledge. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and this has been a challenge for us because historically we've really relied on people coming in our doors and talking to us. And
Yeah.
that can't happen now. So we were a little behind the gun on this one. Like we just, we're kind of caught flat-footed and we're catching up. Engage was a wonderful publication that we really relied on, and it was Jen's baby. Jen was the one who put that together every month. So if you enjoyed Engage, that was all Jen Dewey.
And our wonderful designers too.
And wonderful designers. So we're catching up. So we're saying no, not right now, but maybe in a month. I mean, as everybody knows, this time of COVID is such a rapidly changing, everything's changing. So I don't know what the future holds, but we'll definitely make the slides available. And Judy, I so appreciate this opportunity to talk to people and let them know what we have to offer. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And I will share the recording with everyone as well as you. So yeah, I think this is really helpful, and you guys were great. And I'm looking at the list I typed as you were talking, Amy and Jen, and actually I kind of gave up when you said you could send me the slides too, so I'll just add to it. But I'm going to do a little write-up myself about this, because I think this is a huge missed opportunity. What you're covering here, from everything from, arts and crafts, of course, reading and, let's put that aside. But when you look at all the other things, the Idea Lab and, and the fact that you're really in depth helping business people, this is something that we're really interested at Senior Planet too. And I would say that we have, a handful of lectures or courses or whatever, but there's a lot in my background that would go much deeper that I'd like to impart to our members. And I think that knowing that that's a resource at the library is just incredible. So I just wanted you to know too, in the chat, you're getting so many thanks and excellent information, and so grateful, wonderful, appreciative. So I'll send you that chat as well, so you can read all the accolades. So
yeah, and I just want to say thanks to all of you for your time and attention. We really appreciate it. Like I said, we miss everybody, so it's nice to kind of see people's faces.
You can come on with us anytime. And really, seriously, let us know if you do have a program specific for our target group, right? Let me know. Also, I have one last question, in that if as a group we wanted to go through you for a book club like Alberta was talking about, I never heard of the idea of the no strings attached. We're always looking for groups. We've got a lot of readers in this group. And, everybody's always looking for new ideas. And like you said, Amy, you found out about books you never would have known before. So I think that, so what I'm asking is if I bring you, say, oh, here's 20 people who want to do this, Is that okay to have a larger number versus individuals?
Oh yeah, and I think anything you have like that, Judy, where you're like, our people want this and you can provide it, please reach out to me and
Okay,
we will figure it out. Seriously.
Yes.
Um,
And vice versa.
even if it's like having an introduction to BizBoost, our business resources.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so smart, and we have such powerful data sets available to people to use. Or, you know, I would be happy to connect you with Western History and Genealogy.
Yeah, I think that would be big, really big.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think if there's certain departments, and we'll all talk about this after, but I think if there's certain departments that everybody would like to go a little bit deeper, that would be a great presentation as well. So, yay! Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciative of your time and the great information you just gave us. So now we're going to be extra busy.
Thank you.
Pleasure, truly our pleasure. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
All right, take care,